Want to join us?
If I get caught courting, I got to take my license away.
But you said you wanted to dance.
Yeah, but not here.
Are you going to chicken out?
She was the Swedish kitten with a whip, a fresh-faced sex symbol who filled the gap between Marilyn Monroe and Raquel Welch, setting Hollywood ablaze. Ann-Margret, often billed as the female version of Elvis Presley, found herself caught between the passion of the king of rock and roll and a seemingly impossible choice. So, what made Ann-Margret reject the allure of Elvis Presley? Ann-Margret Olsen left behind the small town of Valstjeben, Sweden, arriving in America at the age of 6. From an early age, she exhibited a natural talent for singing and dancing. Her parents, recognizing her passion, encouraged her pursuits, with her mother even hand-making all of her costumes. Her rise to stardom was explosive. After a brief stint at Northwestern University, where she was a member of the Kappa Alpha Theta sorority, Ann-Margret dropped out to chase her entertainment dreams. She earned her first recording contract with Warner Brothers Records, but success in the music industry proved elusive. Ann-Margret's big break came with the 1963 film Bye Bye Birdie, where she played a Midwestern teenager bidding farewell to an Elvis-like character.
Bye bye birdie, the army's got you now.
Her performance was electrifying, with Variety declaring, "Ann-Margret is a wow." The film was a hit, its soundtracks peaking to number 2 and remaining in the charts for over a year. But it was her film that would change her life forever. In 1964, Ann-Margret was cast opposite Elvis Presley in Viva Las Vegas. Director George Sidney made the fateful introduction. "Elvis Presley, I'd like you to meet the wonderful young lady Ann-Margret. Ann-Margret, this is Elvis Presley." The chemistry between them was instant. Despite Elvis being engaged to Priscilla Bewley, he and Ann-Margret began a passionate affair. The tabloids went wild, dubbing them the perfect match. Both were talented singers and dancers, exuded raw sexuality, and had an undeniable screen presence. In Viva Las Vegas, Ann-Margret matched Elvis step for step, creating musical scenes that reflected the zeitgeist of the sexual revolution of the 60s. Her ability to match Elvis's energy and charisma on screen was unprecedented. In one particularly memorable scene, Ann-Margret and Elvis performed a high-energy dance number that showcased their incredible chemistry and mutual talent. The song "Come On Everybody" became an instant hit, with audiences mesmerized by the duo's synchronized movement and palpable connection. Off-screen, their relationship blossomed rapidly. They found common ground on their shared experiences of fame and the pressures of Hollywood. Both were at the peak of their careers, and their romance seemed like a perfect Hollywood fairy tale. However, the reality was far more complex. Elvis was still committed to Priscilla, and Ann-Margret was torn between her feelings for Elvis and her own career aspirations. Elvis was torn between his commitment to Priscilla and his feelings for Ann-Margret. The pressure of maintaining their secret romance while in the public eye was immense. Enter Roger Smith, an actor known for his role in the TV series 77 Sunset Strip. Ann-Margret had first met Smith years earlier, but it wasn't until 1966 that they reconnected and began dating. Smith later recalled, "Every other woman I met was falling all over me, but this innocent, fresh-faced beauty only spoke to me when I spoke to her, and the rest of the time ignored me. I was impressed." Smith once said, "When I met Ann-Margret, I felt happy for the first time in my life. I couldn't stand to be without her, and surprisingly, she couldn't stand to be without me." This mutual dependence and support became the foundation of their relationship. Their bond was tested numerous times over the years. In 1972, Ann-Margret suffered a severe fall during a performance at Lake Tahoe, resulting in a broken arm, cheekbone, and jawbone. Smith's response was nothing short of heroic. Being a licensed pilot, he allegedly stole a plane in a panic to fly her to UCLA for treatment. The incident showcased the lengths Smith would go to protect and care for her. After 10 weeks of medical care, including facial reconstructive surgery that required wiring her jaws shut, Ann-Margret returned to the stage. During her recovery, she was on a liquid diet, and Smith insisted friends carry wire cutters anytime she went out with them in case of an emergency. Throughout her career, Ann-Margret continued to evolve as an actress. While initially typecast as a sex symbol in films like Kitten with a Whip and Bus Riley's Back in Town, she eventually broke free of this image. Her sensitive performance as the vulnerable wife in Once a Thief opposite Alain Delon showcased her range as an actress, though it was often overlooked by critics at the time. Smith played a crucial role in shaping Ann-Margret's career. He formed a production company called Rogerlin Productions with his former manager Alan Carr. The company produced several successful films and TV specials for Ann-Margret, allowing her to showcase her talents beyond her sex symbol image. He was instrumental in negotiating better contracts, ensuring she was fairly compensated for her work. His business acumen, combined with Ann-Margret's talent, created a formidable team in Hollywood. Plus, her relationship with Smith helped her develop a more mature, multifaceted public persona. This shift was evident in her involvement with various charitable causes, particularly her work with Vietnam veterans. Her dedication to these causes, supported wholeheartedly by Smith, added depth to her public image and demonstrated a commitment to using her fame for meaningful purposes beyond entertainment. Under Smith's management, Ann-Margret's career diversified significantly. She began appearing in television specials, showcasing her talents as a variety performer. These specials, often produced by Smith himself, allowed Ann-Margret to display the full range of her abilities, from singing and dancing to comedy skits. Her 1980 television special, Ann-Margret, Hollywood Movie Girls, was a particular highlight, earning her an Emmy nomination. The couple's professional partnership was as strong as their personal one. They worked together seamlessly, with Smith often taking on the role of Ann-Margret's harshest critic and biggest cheerleader. He would provide honest feedback on her performances, pushing her to continually improve and refine her craft. This dynamic, while sometimes challenging, ultimately contributed to Ann-Margret's growth as an artist and her longevity in the entertainment industry. Smith also encouraged Ann-Margret to explore other aspects of the entertainment industry. In 1994, she published her autobiography, Ann-Margret, My Story, which became a New York Times bestseller. The book, co-written with Todd Gold, provided an intimate look into her life and career, further cementing her status as a Hollywood icon. But Smith's dedication to Ann-Margret's well-being and career came at the expense of his own acting ambitions. He once said, "She wanted me to be like her father, and I wanted to do it for her. It's corny, but it's true. By doing what she wanted, I liked myself much better. Being with her was much more important than all my childhood dreams about being a famous actor." This sacrifice did not go unnoticed or unappreciated by Ann-Margret. She often spoke about how Smith's belief in her abilities exceeded her own self-confidence. So what was it that made her reject the lure of Elvis Presley and go safe with Smith? Smith was different from Elvis in every way. He was older, more stable, and not caught up in the whirlwind of fame that surrounded the king of rock and roll. Where Elvis represented excitement and unpredictability, Smith offered stability and unwavering support. As Ann-Margret found herself torn between these two men, she had to confront a difficult truth. While her connection with Elvis was undeniably strong, it was also tumultuous and complicated by his engagement to Priscilla. Smith, on the other hand, was free to commit fully to their relationship. Smith's approach to their relationship was markedly different from Elvis's. Where Elvis could only offer stolen moments and secret rendezvous, Smith was openly committed to Ann-Margret. He courted her publicly, taking her on dates and introducing her to his friends and family. This openness and lack of secrecy was a refreshing change for Ann-Margret, who had grown weary of hiding her feelings and sneaking around with Elvis. Interestingly, though, Ann-Margret's decision to choose Smith over Elvis was further validated as the years went by. While Elvis's life spiraled into drug addiction, Ann-Margret found stability and lasting love with Smith. However, their relationship wasn't without its challenges. Around the time Ann-Margret was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her role in 1971's Carnal Knowledge, she was struggling with substance abuse. She became dependent on pills and alcohol, unable to distinguish fantasy from reality, but Smith stood by her side, helping her through this difficult period. Ann-Margret added, "He had more faith in me than I did. One of the main things about my view of him was that he would protect me." His faith in her talent and his willingness to put her career first were crucial factors in her decisions to choose him over Elvis. Ann-Margret's relationship with Elvis Presley was as intense as it was brief. Their connection ignited on the set of Viva Las Vegas in 1964. The chemistry between them was undeniable both on and off screen. Ann-Margret later described their first meeting in her autobiography. "We reached out simultaneously and our hands met. It was absolutely riveting. We couldn't take our eyes off each other." Their affair was passionate but complicated. Elvis was already engaged to Priscilla Bewley, creating a love triangle that captivated the media. Ann-Margret and Elvis shared many similarities. Both were talented performers with a raw, sensual energy that electrified audiences. They understood each other in a way that few others could, bonding over their shared experiences in the spotlight. However, their relationship was not destined to last. The pressure of maintaining a secret affair while in the public eye took its toll. She later attended Elvis's funeral in 1977, highlighting the connection they once shared. Ann-Margret's difficult decision to choose Roger Smith over Elvis Presley was ultimately a choice between two different life paths. With Elvis, she might have had continued fame and excitement, but also the instability and pressures that came with his lifestyle. With Smith, she found a partner who was willing to put her first, support her through thick and thin, and help her grow both personally and professionally. They married in a Las Vegas civil ceremony on May 8, 1967. Ann-Margret, then 26, later admitted, "This is not the way I envisaged my wedding. I think everyone thought I was pregnant because I was crying throughout the whole thing."